All right, let's talk about the company cafeteria. For most of us, it's just, a perk, a nice to have. But what if I told you it's actually a super powerful strategic asset? Today, we're going to dive into how to completely transform those workplace menus to fuel not just your people, but your company's entire performance.
You know that feeling, right? That classic 2 p.m. slump. You have a super productive morning, you grab some lunch, and then, bam, you hit a brick wall. It's that dreaded post-lunch crash where all you can think about is another cup of coffee or maybe, just maybe, a quick nap under your desk. Well, what if the real culprit behind that slump is hiding in plain sight, right there on your lunch tray? So, first up on our list of suspects, heavy, oily meals. Yeah, they might taste comforting for a minute, but they demand a ton of energy to digest. Your body is basically sending all its resources to your stomach, which means it's diverting power away from your brain. And that leaves you feeling sluggish and foggy right when you need to be at your sharpest. And then, of course, there's the classic sugar trap. That soda, that candy bar, it gives you this immediate, rapid spike in glucose. You get a quick burst of energy, you feel great for a second. But what comes up must come down, and the crash is inevitable. It's this crazy roller coaster that makes trying to concentrate for any length of time, well, pretty much impossible. And rounding out our top three culprits is a reliance on processed foods. You know what I'm talking about. Those packaged meals with an ingredient list a mile long. The problem is they're often super low in fiber and actual nutrients. So yeah, they fill your stomach, but they don't actually fuel your brain or your body for the work you've got to do. So you add all of that up, the heavy meals, the sugar, the processed stuff, and what do you get? You get what we call the post-lunch productivity crash. And if you want to get from that food coma back to doing focused, deep work, the journey really starts with what we're putting on our plates in the middle of the day. Just look at this stark contrast. On one side, you've got the typical cafeteria fare, deep-fried, processed, sugary stuff that's pretty much guaranteed to lead to a crash. But on the other side, that's what we should be aiming for, performance fuel. See, the goal here isn't just about avoiding the slump, it's about actively creating sustained energy, way better focus, and a genuinely more resilient team. Okay, so this isn't just some fluffy feel-good initiative. This is a real dollars and cents business issue. Let's actually dig into the hidden costs here, because this is why your cafeteria menu needs to be treated like a core business strategy. I want you to really think about this number for a second. 70%. Around 70% of your entire immune function is directly linked to the health of your gut. So when the food we serve at work is actually harming gut health, we're not just talking about being a little sleepy in the afternoon. We're talking about more sick days, slower recovery times. That is a direct, measurable hit to the company's bottom line. So when you look at it that way, the business case becomes crystal clear. It really is a domino effect. It starts with sustained energy, which leads to better focus. And like we just talked about with gut health, that leads to fewer sick days. That, in turn, can mean lower long-term healthcare costs. And you know what? It becomes a huge tool for attracting and keeping top talent. At the end of the day, a really thoughtful menu helps build a stronger, more inclusive culture. Okay, so we've totally established the why. I think we're all on board. Now let's get into the how. What does this ideal performance-first cafeteria actually look like when you walk into it? Believe it or not, it all starts with a really simple but powerful idea, making the balanced plate the default option. The perfect plate is about half vegetables, a quarter quality protein, and a quarter whole grains. And listen, this isn't about telling people what they can't eat. It's about setting a smart, healthy baseline for what awesome fuel looks like. But it goes way beyond just what's on the plate. The entire environment sends a message, you know? Simple things can make a huge difference, like having daily warm and cooked options, soups, stews, which are just easier on your digestion. Swapping out the soda machine for hydration stations with herbal tea or infused water, that's an easy win. Same with curating the snacks to feature things like nuts, yogurt, and fruit instead of candy. And this part is crucial. Clear labeling for calories and nutrients, plus creating mindful, device-free eating zones, that all empowers people to make better choices for themselves. Okay, I can practically hear what some of you are thinking right now. This all sounds great, but my team, they just want burgers and fries. And you know what? That is the single most common objection, and it is a totally fair point. So how do you actually deal with that? Well, the answer isn't to start banning things. Nobody likes that. The real secret is to use a little bit of psychology. It's called choice architecture, and it's pretty simple. First, you just make the healthy options more visible and attractive. Put them right up front. Second, you get people involved. Run taste tests, get employee feedback, make them part of the process. And third, you slowly, and I mean slowly, shift the default options over time. Look, most people just take the path of least resistance, so all you have to do is make the healthy path the easiest one to take.
All right, let's pull all of this together into a real, actionable plan. And I want to be clear, this is not some massive all-or-nothing overhaul that's going to cost a fortune. This is a low-cost blueprint for making a really high-impact change one step at a time. And you know what? This kind of change can happen way faster than you might think. Check this out. In the first couple of weeks, you just focus on quick wins. Send out a survey, add one new daily healthy option. That's it. Then, for the next 6 weeks or so, you run a small pilot program to test things out and get it right. And finally, you take what works, you scale it up, and you start building the culture around it. See, it's a totally manageable step-by-step process. And this is non-negotiable. You have to measure your success. This isn't about guesswork or hoping it works. You use simple, clear metrics. A quick weekly survey on energy levels. Daily tracking of how many people are choosing the healthy plate. A monthly look at snack sales. Are they buying more nuts or more chips? And then a quarterly check on short-term sick days. This is the hard data that proves the ROI. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. We have got to stop thinking of food at work as just another perk, like a foosball table in the break room. It's not. Great food is a performance multiplier. It literally fuels attention, it reduces friction, and it sends a powerful signal that the company values its people as human beings, not just cogs in a machine. Food is strategy. So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. When you think about your own workplace, what's the single biggest, easiest opportunity to make things better? Is it something as simple as adding a daily soup, or maybe replacing that one soda machine? Or maybe it's just starting the conversation with the right people? Because remember, the whole journey always starts with one small change. Thanks for tuning in.